If you're from outside the US and you want a US bank account, maybe US credit cards, you want US payment processors, you want to have all the benefits of the US financial system, but you're not an American and not from the US, stay tuned to this video because my name is James Baker and I've been helping clients for a really long time from all over the world get set up like they're an American in a tax efficient way so they're not actually paying taxes. In the US, you can have US companies and US bank accounts, and if you don't do any work within the US physically, then you don't have to pay US income taxes on that stuff. So what we're doing is helping clients get all the tools they need to kind of appear like an American and actually have access to the full system without paying any taxes. And I'm gonna go through all of it and all the secrets that I've learned over the years helping thousands of clients with this in this video. Now it's a little bit impromptu. I don't have a slideshow, I don't have anything, but I've done this so many times and helped so many people with it that I'm able to just go through exactly what you need to do. So we're gonna start first with the personal side. Now, the personal side is you personally. We're going to talk about your business or your company next, but the personal side, what you need to build to start with your credit, to start with your bank accounts, to start with everything. So the first step is to get an ITIN number. That's an individual taxpayer identification number. It's like a social security number for a foreign person. So we're going to go get this social security number or this ITIN number. We're going to apply for that first because it takes 3 to 6 months to get. It takes forever to get. The IRS takes forever to issue those. I wouldn't do it yourself. This is out of all the things you can try and do yourself, this is one of the things I would pay an acceptance agent to do. We do it, but I would pay anyone to do it. Someone you trust with your passport. So you need this ITIN. Second, you need a residential address. It's much easier if you have a family member or a friend in the US that you can use their address for, just for mail forwarding. Maybe you have your own spot, but you need a residential address. Now, once you have your ITIN and your residential address, you can start the third step before you get your ITIN. So you can apply for the ITIN, find an address that you can use, friend, family, anyone. And at residential, I'm talking about an apartment, a house. I'm in an office complex. It wouldn't work. Talk about a house. And the banks know. They see the code, they see the address, it goes in the system, they know. So you got this residential address. We're going to go to a bank and open a personal bank account. Now in Miami, I talked about this. You can go to Truist or PNC, and those banks are really flexible about opening a bank account. You're going to need generally a phone number. I would recommend Tello. So you're going to need generally a phone number, and maybe get the phone number with that address as well, so you can go in there with at least a phone bill. But at the end, we have an ITIN, a residential address, a bank account, a personal bank account in the US with that address so that you can use that bank statement as proof of address, a US phone number, again, ideally associated with that address as well. And then once you get all these things, you can start applying for credit cards. And now you're building up your credit. I did a video with First Card before. If you have a residential address, you can apply with them. Pretty easy way to build credit. They basically accept anyone with a US address. And then once you get that, you use that for a couple months, you can build up your credit and get more and more stuff rolling. And now you're kind of like a US person. Then if you spend enough time in the US and you come to the US enough, you can get more bills and actually get a US driver's license. That's a great, great way to actually appear as an American. If you have a US ITIN and a driver's license, you can apply for stuff like you're a US person and you will appear. The big difference here is that every ITIN starts with the number 9. It's not as good as a social. No social security numbers start with a 9. All ITINs start with a 9. So your number's like 999-555-9955. And like it's gonna start with a 9. So everyone will know it is an ITIN. But if you have a US driver's license, it's like it's a true ID. It's a real ID and it works. You have to come and do that in person. It's obviously a lot more involved. There's many different states you can apply for a driver's license with, but it's something that if you're committed to getting the most out of the US financial system, if you had that, it's really awesome. Then you're applying for stuff. Like when I apply for things, I only use my driver's license. I don't use my passport. Because I'm in the US, I have a social, I can use my driver's license. That's locked in. Now we're talking about business stuff. And now this is for doing business and making it easier. Now that you have all this set up, the business stuff gets so much easier. You basically can open up an LLC, get an EIN. You don't even need a good business address because you have all the personal stuff locked down. But you can have a mail forwarding address, a real business address, whatever you want. You can get an easier business address. And then you can just apply for bank accounts. Because you're applying like a US person, you can apply at so many more online bank accounts. And it's gonna make it easier to get those accounts opened. And you like using the business because you have more legal protection. It looks more professional if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to do business. Most of the people watching my channel are entrepreneurs, so the LLC is great. And also the LLC doesn't pay taxes in the US, it's passed through. So you as a foreign entrepreneur can keep stuff not in your own name, And maybe you're taking a tax position. Maybe you're a Canadian and you like spend time in Canada. You want to keep stuff out of your personal name so you don't have to pay tax in Canada. Maybe it's some kind of strategy from your tax perspective to have that open. If you have a complicated tax strategy or a situation, you're between countries, I encourage you to just schedule a call with me. I've talked to people from everywhere, all over the world, and we've come up with some really killer strategies and that are tailored to your risk level. So I'd love to speak with you about it personally. But in terms of this whole gambit of what we're talking about, having the LLC, the EIN, and operating agreement, I always recommend getting that signed. Business bank accounts, you can eventually, once you have enough credit built up, you can get business credit cards. Once you have all that, then you can apply for all kinds of payment processors. Like usually people just apply for Stripe or like an AirWallex or some kind of other payment processor that's available. Like then you can apply for Square, you can apply for Clover, you can apply for all of these other usually only payment processors that are usually only accessible by Americans. You can now apply for because you got that whole personal side fully set up. So you're going to be able to apply for so much more stuff in the US to really give your business all the tools it needs to succeed. Now, you want to make sure you do all your annual compliance. You're filing your 5472. If you're a foreign person, you have this LLC. But if you don't have an LLC and you only did the personal stuff on this side, you actually don't even have a tax return or any tax stuff to file. You could file a 1040 NR, like a protective, like a blank return, just to keep your ITIN active with the IRS, but it's really not required. You know, if you don't do any business and you just want to get the personal stuff set up, do these 5 steps over here. Obviously, you have to do a little bit of work and find people and go to the bank and fly to the US and do all this stuff. But if you can do that and fight through it, it's going to be an asset for you that you can use going forward. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, I highly recommend after you do these steps, we go through concurrently also doing these steps where we're opening up the company, the EIN. And now if you need a payment processor at a real bank, you can apply like an American. If you need to use your TikTok shop account, you can do it yourself. And if you want to just grow your business and open multiple LLCs, it's something that's going to be really easy to set up. So can't believe I got through this video so quickly. I know I talk really fast, but this is what I really want to share. The US identity process is something where you can actually get access to all the US tools, but usually people are missing 1 or 2 of these things, like a personal bank account at a physical bank is tough to get. You have to come to the US and do that in person. And then having the ITIN, not everyone has that. And then the driver's license is really rare, but I did meet a guy last week who did have one and it inspired me to make this video. So if you need help setting up any of this stuff, maybe you don't have all of this stuff and you just want to get the LLC open, we do that for a lot of clients. They can't come to the US, they can't travel, they don't have time, they don't want to, and they don't have a friend or family member address, which is a big issue with a lot of clients, especially a personal address. What we help our clients with is getting the company a good business address and getting as many bank accounts open as possible. And we have good connections at the banks where we can get these accounts open, and we basically guarantee it with our service. So if you're considering expanding to the US, opening a company, getting bank accounts open, or you want to go through any of this process with us, I encourage you to schedule a free call with me and the team, JamesBakerCPA.com/schedule. And if you like the videos, thanks for liking and subscribing. And here's another one that I think you're going to love. So click this one. It's going to be a great video. See you on the next one.